Dude, that 30% Israeli support for the third temple sounds extremely inflated. Also, a little help from my friends. Beatles is better. Cocker is a weakling. Okay, now you're just see. I was thinking, okay, maybe he's got a point here at the beginning, and then you said the Beatles version is better than the Joe Cocker version, and then it
You know where
destroyed
the
your
30%
credibility.
comes from? The 30% comes from
A
I looked up
2013
I
study.
looked up a study and found that the only study that exists, the last study that was the last research that was done on this, the last polling, showed that a maximum of 30% of Israelis support the idea of establishing the third temple. So I brought it up during the debate when he said that Israel wants to establish the third temple. I said that the latest most recent survey that we have shows only a maximum of 30%. That's all, and that is possibly an overestimation, and he just ran with that and then took that as, see, this is a confirmation, 30%, and if it's 30%, then it might actually be 70%. So
My
it's just a
issue was
ridiculous point.
my issue was not with the 30% because okay, there's something saying that. My problem was if you listen to him, he then lumped it together with people who want to name the Messiah. He lumped them
Yeah,
together.
exactly.
Yeah, and then he starts going 30% of people want to name the Messiah. It's like,
Slippery
no,
slope.
no, you're in a completely different category. In fact, lots of people who um, are waiting for the Messiah don't believe in rebuilding the temple. They believe that the Messiah has to come and do this stuff. It's not happening till the Messiah comes. So you're just sitting here waiting for that. You're not actively going out and doing it to try and set the stage. And then among the people who want to build the third temple, you've got people who are completely secular. They just don't like Muslims controlling they don't like Muslims controlling the place, and that Jews aren't allowed to have a temple there and stuff. So you have people who have no religious interest in this, and then you have people who want the temple just as a place to worship, but they're not thinking, oh yeah, that we need this for the Messiah. And so you have all sorts of different perspectives. So when you say, nope,
Right.
every person who wants a temple built is also about to name a Messiah, and if they get this built, then they're going to name the Messiah, and that's going to be the Antichrist, and so on. It's like, dude, this is you think
Terrible slippery slope
you
fallacy.
brag about like your airtight logic and so on, and this is just extremely extremely sloppy. And if you don't believe me,
Terrible,
jump on here.
terrible slippery slope fallacy. The thing is also, they kept coming after me over this whole thing. So he pushed it and pushed it and pushed it, and I kept like waving it away and calling it dumb that he suggested 30% of the Israelis want to bring about the Antichrist, or or that Israel wants to do that, that this is Israel's ultimate plan. Eventually, he asked me on the spot, "Okay, so do you think we should support a nation where 30% wants to bring about the Antichrist?" And I said, "Yeah." So,
Powerful.
and I actually deliberately said yes because I thought, okay, whatever you want to hear it here, yeah. Because I knew they were going to clip that. I knew they were going to talk about that, so I did it. I said it. And the thing is, that's all they're talking about now. Whenever I see somebody mention this debate from his side, from their side, all they ever talk about, with all the details, all the arguments ignored, is just that part that I
Right.
said yes to supporting a nation where 30% of the people want to bring about the Antichrist, which I never even agreed to, which is complete nonsense. But I just said yes for the sake of it. Now, here's the thing. Even if it were true, and even if in that nation 30% of the people, which is very, very far fetched and nonsensical and completely baseless, even if 30% wanted to bring about what you believe to be the Antichrist, I would still say we should be supporting that nation. Because nothing about a minority part of the population holding a certain belief that goes against our beliefs or that is possibly evil says that we should therefore let this nation go completely and let them die and let them be killed. You also explained this very well. We talked about this before. Just because there is a danger of a part of the population possibly doing something evil in the future, that doesn't mean we shouldn't be doing what is right. right. What is right, as we have established here, and as he cannot refute, is that they deserve our help, and we should be standing up for them. That's it.
Yeah, and that multiple other things would apply to, in addition to what you were just saying. Like, I pointed out the parable of the Good Samaritan. These would have been enemies, and yet they weren't thinking in terms of, but this person will choose a false Messiah. I cannot help him. So there's that. And then the flip side, because he said, yeah, but that 30% is increasing. Source, trust me, Orthobro. But the 30% is increasing. And I'm sitting there, when he said that 30% is increasing, I was thinking, why would it increase? One, he didn't show that it's increasing. I have no reason to think that it's increasing. But two, if it were increasing, why would this sort of thing be increasing? Like, we want the Messiah to come and rescue. It would kind of be because they're like looking around at the world going, oh, a bunch of people turning against us. They're boycotting our economy and stuff like this. Very soon we're going to need a lot of help here, and we're going to need like help from the Messiah. So yeah, I laid it down. Bottom line, a safe, strong Israel, not the sort of place that's we need to nuke the entire world or anything like that. People got to be really backed up and desperate to start going nuclear and stuff. And then this, and if people don't know what we're talking about with this song battle here from the Seal of the Prophets, the Beatles are like, what would you do if I sang out a tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Blame. And then Joe Cocker came on later on. What would you do if I sang out a tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? And he just crushed it.